This is an after-the-fact video on how to change the impeller on the water pump on a Volvo Penta 5.7 GL motor. I struggled with a few things, so I was going to share just a few tips and tricks that might make your life a little easier than mine was over the last hour or so. So first of all, this impeller is kind of protected and stabilized by this kind of bracket that you have to take off, and it's pretty hard to get to. There's a couple screws down here that you can see. I used a tool like this flexible kind of bit holder to get in there to make life a lot easier. Also, you'll need to take off those hoses. Kind of be aware of which one's on top. Be aware there's about 3 maybe quarts of water or antifreeze that drip out of there once you get those disconnected. I use this tool here to kind of get pried underneath here and loosen up kind of that hose. Be careful so you don't put a hole in that hose with that sharp end. So once you get the hoses off and the bracket off, then you'll wind up taking off these 4 bolts. There's 3 on the outside, and then there's one right in between of these the inlet and the outlet. You'll take that out, and then this cover will just lift off, and that'll have that impeller in it. You can just lift that up and put it on your workbench. This is my old one. I have not changed this since I've had the boat for about 10 years. You can see I'm on borrowed time here. I have one that's completely off, and there's another one that's torn pretty badly that was ready to go. The shop tells me that, there's the tear. The shop tells me that first warning of a bad impeller is that the boat's going to run hot at idle, and then it'll cool down once you get the RPMs going. I didn't notice that on mine, but either way, I'm glad I obviously got that changed based on how this looks. So you'll take that housing off, and then you'll take the new impeller. Before you take this out, note what the orientation of these wings is. Mine was like that. So basically it will be like this wheel is spinning clockwise inside that housing. Coat all the fins generously with the KY jelly or whatever it is, the lubricant that winds up coming with the impeller. And then I've seen this on videos, which was very helpful. You take a zip tie and then you curve them all the correct way, and then you put that zip tie in, and then you pop that into that housing. At that point, obviously, you wind up, you can put that cover back on, put this 4 screws on, and then you're back in business. Be aware, my cover did not want to come on. I thought maybe this thing was oriented in the wrong way, but in fact this is symmetrical. There is a shaft that this has to slip onto. You just kind of have to put a little bit of be a little bit gentle, and you'll finagle that. And aside from that, make sure you don't forget the O-ring. That'll also come with your kit. Lube that up really well. I put a little bit of axle grease also on the impeller, the gears, and then everything kind of snapped back together with just minimal heartache. So best of luck.